So this is our spiral review 2. This actually will be homework for anything that you don't finish in class today or this week. At the top, I want you to write this is called an asterisk, and it's due Friday, August 20th. That's this coming Friday is when this is due. Okay, now, when we go over our spiral review on Monday, I like to highlight important terms for you to know. Okay, now, some of these should all be reviewed, but I know a lot of us have forgotten. So this one says, write the symbol that makes each number sentence true. Raise your hand if you can tell me what kind of symbol I might put in there. What kind of symbol might I put in there? Trevor. Right, like the alligator, your old teacher. I'm sure she'll be glad to know you called her old. Okay, so we're looking for greater than, less than, or equal. Those are the symbols that we use to compare numbers.
Like his other teacher.
I'm teasing. Okay, so I have here a bag of fraction pieces. What I want you to know is that there are several bags of fraction pieces, and you are able to go get those anytime. You do not have to ask me, but they're only to be used during math. They're not a toy. And when you're done, you need to make sure that you put them all back in the bag and then put it back over here on the shelf. So in the morning when you come in or during RTI, if you're looking at your spiral review, you can grab a set of these and come over here and use them. Okay, what I want to note here on these though is that the denominator is the same. Remember we call that top number the what? What's the top number in a fraction called? Numerator, and the bottom number is the denominator. Okay, and then on this second one, the numerator is the same. So what you really need to know in order to complete this one is 1/4 bigger or 1/7? Raise your hand. Is a fourth bigger or a seventh? Addie? A fourth. If I have a candy bar, let's just all pretend that this is a candy bar, and I divide it into 4 equal parts. Each part is going to be this big, right? Now, if I take that same candy bar, and I don't have a 7th fraction strip, but I have a 6th, and I divide it into 6, each part is only going to be that big. So what you should think about is this. If I have my candy bar and I have to share it with 4 people, am I going to have a bigger piece or a smaller piece than if I have to share it with 7 people? The same size candy bar. If I divide it among 4 people, my pieces are going to be bigger than if I divide it among 7 people, right? So that's where our thinking needs to be. Again, you're welcome to come use the fraction pieces anytime. Now these I think are pretty hard. We're looking at equivalent fractions. What does equivalent mean? What does the word equivalent mean? Ella?
Like the fractions are like kind of like the same thing.
Equal. Equivalent and equal have that same base word or root word, equi, which means the same or equal. Now, do you know how to find an equivalent fraction? No? Yep.
You can times that fraction equal the top number and the bottom number by 2, 5, or 10.
By any number, Gracie. That is excellent thinking this morning. I love it. I will give you an armor ticket. I don't have one handy.
Yeah, they're right there.
I do have one handy. All right. So what Gracie said was you can multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, so here's how we're going to walk through it mathematically. 4 times what equals 8? 4 times what equals 8? Yes. 2. So if we multiply that denominator by 2, then we need to multiply the numerator by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/4 is equal to 2/8. Let's look at what that looks like. And again, can you come get the fraction pieces to do this? Yes. Do you need to ask me to get the fraction pieces? Okay, here's 2/8. Okay, so when you're looking at this one, 2/3 is equal to 3 what? You can multiply, or you can grab the fraction pieces and you can try to find 8 pieces that are going to equal 2/3. Not yet, when we're working, okay? But I do want to go over a little chant with you that Gracie is making me think of. You can use the fractions or you can multiply by the same number, okay? Here's a little chant that I like to do to help us remember how to find equivalent fractions. Stella, could you please shut the door because we're getting ready to get a little loud. Everybody look up here. Everybody stand up. Okay? And when we do our chants, everyone participates. They're not optional. Okay? Levi, I'm waiting. Thank you. Kaden, you can stay in your seat and chant if you want to. Okay? All right. To find equivalent fractions. Everybody do that part. To find equivalent fractions. Multiply. Or divide. The numerator. And denominator. By the same number. Okay, so let's do it one more time. To find equivalent fractions, multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. So what that means, and you don't have to write this down, but if I have 1/2, I can multiply the numerator and denominator by any number to get an equivalent fraction. What would you like me to multiply it by, Cordelia? Give me a number. Well, 1 is going to give you the same fraction. So a different, I guess, by any number but 1. Okay, so Cordelia says 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 1/2 is equal to 2/4. Give me another number you want me to multiply by. Ryan. 4. If I multiply the top and bottom by 4, the numerator and denominator, it's 4/8. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. I can multiply by 100. I can multiply by 99. I recommend keeping it simple, numbers that are easy to multiply, but it can be any number. There are an infinite number of equivalent fractions. You can multiply it by anything, okay? Okay, let's move on. Adding or subtracting. If my numerator and denominator are the same, tell me the rule for adding and subtracting fractions. What do I do? Who remembers this from 3rd grade?
What's the question?
Who remembers from 3rd grade, what do I do when my denominators are the same when adding and subtracting fractions? So for example, 3/5 plus 1/5. How do I do that? Does anyone remember? Yes, Lily.
Do you add them together?
You only add part of it. What part do I add? Eli and Dane. Dane. You only add the numerator. Excellent vocabulary, Dane. Come grab an armor ticket. You only add the numerator. Very good. Okay, this next one, and on the next one, you only subtract the numerator. We only add and subtract the numerator if the denominators are the same. Okay, look at this next one. Name the model as a fraction and decimal. That's an easy fraction for us to name. Who knows what that fraction is? Caden? 1/2. Very good. How do we write 1/2 as a decimal? Ooh, I have people that know. How do I write 1/2 as a decimal?
Is it like 1 and like a slash and a 2?
No, well, that's how we write it as a fraction. How do I write it as a decimal, Lily?
Is it 1, and then it's like the first one and then decimal and then it's like...
Let me give you a hint. There's no 1 or 2 in the decimal of 1/2. What do you think, Dane?
0.5?
You're exactly right. That's very good thinking. And this is just something that we need to memorize. And let me show you what this says. This is the 10th place on the decimal chart. The first place to the right of the decimal, this is kind of challenging, is the 10th place. So what this is 5/10. That's 5/10. Well, 5/10 is equal to 1/2. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. These are ones you just are going to memorize until we learn more about decimals, which is coming very soon. But we call this 5/10. This is your freebie today. We're doing this one for you. 5/10, and 5/10 is equal to 1/2. That is how we write it. So everyone should get this one correct on their assignment. Okay, area and perimeter. Raise your hand if you remember how to find the area of a rectangle. Ooh, I like it. It's easy. Who remembers how to find the area of a rectangle? Levi. That is not area. That is something different that we're going to talk about in a minute. Eli.
7 times 3.
Multiply. And guess what? I have a chant. I do. All right, stand up. Remember, everyone's participating. Okay, so this time, and I want to assure you that I see students use this. I've seen them use it on iLearn. I've seen them use it on their EL Post test. Okay, this makes an A, so put your hands like a triangle. Okay, I'm going to, area equals, now I'm going to go backwards because length. This is how it should be open to make a real L. Length times width. Doesn't this look like a W with your hands? Okay. Area equals length. Yep, good job. It should look like an L like Miss Harper's. Length times width. This looks like a W. And then I always like it if we just do. And do it again. All right, everybody up. We're going to do it all together. Oh, come on. Area equals length times width. Area equals length times width. Nice. So, now what Levi just said was add all the sides together. That is perimeter. Now, how many sides are on this rectangle?
4.
4. So when I'm adding, how many numbers should I add?
4.
I should add 4. Okay? We just lost our Wi-Fi, but it's okay.